one.
All the people of Philadelphia know all the things you've done to myself, all the things you've done to the American dream, Dusty Rhodes. But it's time for some dues to be paid, some real heavy dues. You've done some things to me that you're going to have to answer for, and Philadelphia is the place you're going to answer for. You know, the U.S. title is very prestigious, and you and I have gone round and round over it. And when we come to Philadelphia this time, there's going to be no mistaking what's going to happen. I'm going to come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. I'm coming there to take you out in no uncertain terms. No baby doll at your side, nobody to run distractions for you, just you and I in the middle of that square circle, nose to nose, eye to eyeball, getting it on like two men should do. This is professional wrestling. This isn't some game. This is where men are men and the boys stay on the side and watch what's going on. And Tully Blanchard, you can't run and hide from me anymore. You're going to have to deal with Magnum TA. All the stuff, all the things you've done are going to come to a head. Philadelphia is going to be the...
How's it going, everybody? This is the wild child, Connor Hopkins, the handsome coyote in those damn coyotes. And you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following Sit Down Marks podcast is set for one fall. Introduce first your heel host that is always helping to spread the good word of wrestling, Dirty Bird. Next up, the co-host from the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme, editor and producer, Primo. And finally, your co-host, straight out of your mama's kitchen, driver of the grip wagon, straight off a cliff, assistant editor and producer, AJ.
Welcome, everybody. Episode number 67 of the Sit Down Marks podcast, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. Thank you, TW Ward, for that awesome introduction. And thank you so much to these fine co-hosts I have with me here each and every week. Truth be known or truth not be known, my co-hosts are both known from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Welcome, AJ, and the number one contender himself for that Kurt Angle trophy. What's going on, fellas?
Oh,
Primo.
Oh, boy.
Primo's the number one contender.
Talk to me.
That's right. We are back. Welcome
Nope.
to episode.
Nope. Robot.
Audio. Primo is number one contender, but can't feel feelings.
Okay, AJ can talk then.
What is this thing called? Love.
So, AJ, how are you doing, sir?
You know, I'm great. It's lovely to not have been in your guys' little pissing contest for the coveted Kurt Angle trophy. So I got to officiate, which was pretty I'm drunk with power right now. I have all the power over you two. I know the outcome.
Yep. So
You have the power.
It came down to me and Primo. Last time Mike was here, we played the number one contendership. Primo won, so we picked WWE Hell in a Cell this past weekend. I'm feeling good. I can't wait to get these results out here because it's probably the last time we're going to have to hear that number one contender little gimmick spot that.
Well, yeah, because then I'll be the three-time champion.
So. Three-time?
Yeah, don't forget that second title run I had back before.
Oh man, you're bringing up old stuff. That's old stuff. Man. That's old stuff. So
Live in the now, Primo.
We'll find out about the at the end of the recap. AJ will reveal that I am going to retain the title, and Primo will have to come up with another gimmick. So we'll worry about that at the end of the recap. So, but also joining us today, the Undead One is back, of course. Also, formerly known as Joey Bag of Donuts, Undead Michael. What's going on, brother? Take your booze.
Boo!
You marks don't know what you like. Only I know what you like, and I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna come on you like no other man's come on you before.
Yes.
Primo, you want to talk about that opening spot right there?
Oh,
real
man.
quick?
So, real quick, it is definitely after the I Quit match we're covering today. But I just had to. It was Magnum TA promo against Tully Blanchard, and it was just too good to pass up to put here on the pod.
Do you think he knew? Like, did he have any, or was he just
He was
blissfully
dead serious.
So he was like the ambiguously gay duo from
watch
Saturday Night Live.
the video at the end, because he starts at the very end where he's like, up here in Philadelphia, and so I guess some henchmen come to beat him up in the locker room. He's just like, what the? And then he gets beat up.
Oh, nice. Welcome
God
back,
damn
Michael.
it.
We just recently celebrated your big win over AJ, in this day in wrestling history. So he wasn't cool with us bringing that up, but
Well, I do appreciate it. Thanks for having me back. Always good
Be
to
the
see
third
you
week in
fine
a row we
gentlemen.
talked about it. Yeah.
Talked
Yes,
about
it
what?
would.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's legendary stuff. Thank you, everyone
Mysteries.
listening right now on all the podcast platforms out there, including Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Google, Stitcher. What have I forgot? Oh,
All of the podcasting platforms. out there.
all of those platforms.
They
That's
should.
right.
It's episode 67. They know them by now.
That's right. And if it's Friday, then it must be on SportsWire online radio right before the number one. We're going to open up the show with it instead of
Very
closing
nice.
it
Very
today.
nice.
Thomas
Very
Bryce
nice.
show at 6:15, I believe the time it comes on Eastern time. So check us out, and he plays us a lot throughout the week. So check us out. Leave us a review on that platform that you're listening from, please. We appreciate everybody that's left us one so far, and we ask that you continue to do that. And we appreciate all the support, man. The pod downloads are going up, and it's all because of you guys, and we really appreciate it. And we're just going to keep this thing rocking on, baby. Just rocking on. Speaking of rocking on, how
Very
about
nice.
that pop of the pod here today? Here,
Good
Primo?
segue.
Transitions. Very
Let's
good.
see.
Segue. Yeah. We're gonna get to the old jukey box here.
The fake Rock and Roll Express, the Rockers,
The Rockers.
One.
the Rockers.
Sean and Marty.
The
God
robot
fucking
rocker.
damn it! Why are you a robot again?
Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
The Rock'em Sock'em Rockers.
I'm just gonna be this way the whole pod.
So we got
There's a garbage can in my living room.
AJ. I guess it's a good time for you to talk about your wrestling history here. What you got for us?
Let me make sure that everything is kosher and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Kosher?
Yeah.
Kosher?
Coaster.
You only eat kosher?
This day in wrestling history, which is June 8th, you turds. Couple of things. One of my most hated gimmicks / wrestlers / everything associated with this business was born today. Mr. Chris Chavez. Do you know who that is? Here's a
ring
hint.
bell.
He chops. He does chops. He chops. Jump off the top rope.
Great.
Chop.
Tatanka.
Great Khali.
Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Today, Tatanka was born in 1965. I
wasn't
Great Khali
thinking
doesn't look like a
tomahawk
Chris.
Chops. And then he does that little uvulation thing. I don't know. I hate Tatanka. In 1985, right around the time of our Starrcade match today, Black Bart
Yes.
defeats Ronnie Garvin for the
Yes.
NWA National Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia, right down the street from Dirty's
Honky the donkey.
Haberdashery.
Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. Brother of gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Hands of Stone.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Back in the day when they had the world title and the national title, and they would call you the world national heavyweight champion. It's weird.
That's a
It was
total
weird. I was
oxymoron.
watching old wrestling the other night, and Buddy Landell, play another guy that was a Nature Boy Buddy Landell. He won a belt. Yeah, it was. I think it was on Starrcade right before
It was
the
on
match
this one,
we
yeah.
watched. Yeah, they called him once again. They called him the world national heavyweight champion. It made no sense.
So fucking weird.
He's the champion of all the nations of the world.
The world
Not the
national.
world, but not the
I
world.
am the nature boy.
Well, to go along with this, in 1988, Clash of the Champions 2, Miami Mayhem was the subtitle. James L. Knight Center in Miami, Florida. The main event saw Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard defend their NWA World Tag Team Championship against Sting and Dusty Rhodes. I would love to see that match because it has 3 of my 4 favorite people ever. Match ended in a double disqualification because, of course, it did. Because at this point, WCW, that's all they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to mention in 1988, on an All Japan Wrestling card in Saitama, Japan, the Glamour Girls, who are Leilani Kai and Judy Martin, defeated the Jumping Bomb Angels because I love the Jumping Bomb Angels. I've only seen them like 3 times, but they crack me up.
Right.
They're really good workers, too.
Yeah.
They won the WWF Women's Tag Team Championship. What else do I have here?
Yeah, that was back when they had like a big relationship with them. They would interchange a lot of people with them.
Yeah.
Kind of like what AEW is doing with New Japan right now.
Oh, we'll get to that, too.
Oh, we will.
And then
will we?
In 2014, Ricochet became the youngest winner of the New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors tournament with a win over Kushida in the final in Tokyo, Japan. That is this day in wrestling history. June 8th, you turds.
You turds, you marks, you mark turds, turd marks. Anything going on in headlines, Primo, worthy of your speaking, sir? Mr. Number One Contender for maybe another 30, 45 minutes. And then you're out of here.
Done for.
For
No
good.
headlines.
None?
Just kidding. Okay, so via PW Insider, TNT aired their final scheduled NHL broadcast last night, which was the other night. So going forward, AEW Rampage will be in its regular 10 p.m. Eastern Standard time slot. The next potential disruption could be in October due to World Series playoffs. But that schedule has not been made official yet. Next up, you have WWE on A&E returns with all new episodes of Biography, WWE Legends, and brand new series, WWE Rivals and WWE Smack Talk, starting Sunday, July 10th at 8, 7 Central.
What the hell is WWE Smack Talk?
A new series coming to WWE on A&E.
That was a good sell. That was very good.
Talk show, I'm sure. Just to
Fucking
pump.
hell.
It's probably Smack Talk. I think it's the after show of WWE Rivals, whatever that is.
Sure.
Impact will host Against All Odds, their pay-per-view coming up, and the Southern Hostility TV tapings at Center Stage in Atlanta. Capacity is estimated to be at 1,050, making it one of the biggest tapings for Impact during the Access TV era. Impact is slowly but surely increasing revenue size with each new set of tapings.
Awesome, because they're really good.
It is exciting. It's exciting for me. I like Impact. Obviously, I've been covering it here since WrestleMania. But one thing I just still haven't been able to get over, the production and the small crowd. Just
They need to... Yeah.
Low production values.
They need to use Phil Collins Against All Odds. Well, that's in the air tonight.
In the air tonight.
That was good, though. That was
Your heart's in the right
really
place,
good. Damn.
Okay, if you think their production values are low now, if they spent all their money on one Phil Collins song, they would be wrestling in like a fucking on like soiled mattresses that they got from dumpsters and
just
stuff.
stained mattresses.
Why do they have to sell the ring they have if they
Yeah, they no longer they have to hawk the ring.
they're renting the ring, they can't afford it anymore.
They're trying to get Moose and Sammy over with "You're Coming Back to Me" is against the odds.
Are you a big Phil Collins fan there?
Oh yeah, huge man. Yeah, he's from my
WWE
era.
says that Edge has suffered a
Primo's having none of it.
That's
Phil
what he should
Collins
do. He should move
bullshit.
on from my Phil Collins.
Moving on from the headlines.
He's doing
WWE
right.
says that Edge suffered a non-displaced orbital floor fracture on Monday Night Raw. On June
Horseshit.
7th, Matt Cardona underwent bicep surgery and tweeted out later that day that he will still be in Knoxville on June 11th for NWA Always Ready show, where he is scheduled to defend his title against Nick Aldis, a National Treasure.
Always ready.
So what do you think about that? Like, you think he's going to show up but not be able to compete, so then they fight Nick Aldis versus somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, just some way to further the storyline until he can
Like, there's
heal.
no way he can... Yeah.
He's going to have surgery on the 10th?
No, he did have surgery on the 7th.
Oh,
And the show was
4
on the
days
11th.
later?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a quick recovery time. It's fine.
Yeah. He
So
showed
I
up.
saved the coolest story for last. You know, whether you love John Cena or you hate John Cena, at the end of the day, he is an outstanding human being.
Absolutely.
So, the Wall Street Journal recently revealed a story that WWE superstar John Cena traveled to the Netherlands to meet a 19-year-old fan who recently escaped from Ukraine with his mother
Oh, yeah.
to get away from the current war in their country. The fan has Down syndrome, and his mother used the motivation of being able to meet John Cena as the motivation to get him to get out of Ukraine.
Wow.
That's just awesome.
That's
Everything
amazing.
about that is just awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
and then he
it's
actually
amazing.
flew over there to meet him.
Right.
You know, I don't get the flack John Cena gets. Like, I really
I don't either.
He
No,
seems like
like-
a lovely person.
Right. I mean, dude has like what most Make-A-Wish meetups or whatever. I mean, he's obviously a great human being. I think it's more so that he gets crap on the character John Cena, not the person.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Still.
Those that know me know that my son has Down syndrome, and I saw this today, and you know, I'm getting emotional about it, like I am now. Like, this stuff is just cool. You know, you don't know how much this kind of stuff does for people when somebody like John Cena, you know, does that. So, you know, it's really super cool. So I'm gonna let y'all keep going here. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just think that this story in itself, like the whole story is cool. Like, not only were they able to flee from Ukraine, obviously John Cena went up there and met him. It was a whole thing, and it just shows that their story alone is cool without the John Cena part. But then obviously the combo of the two makes it quite the story also. Well, go ahead.
Here's something that's kind of crazy about this too. Like, how did they get a hold of John Cena to notify him? Because you know that the moment he heard, he was like, "Yep, I'll be there."
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
Sure, I'm pretty sure John Cena has like a Cena signal that they
He
project
has a,
to the
he,
sky.
he has,
Just a
he has,
hand.
yeah, he has a red phone.
Right. I feel like at this point there's some that he just doesn't turn down. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
No,
So
the legends say that if you go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and say John Cena
5 times.
5 times, you can't
Yeah,
see
for
him
sure.
still.
All of a sudden, you just hear a.
yeah. I believe it.
I love
I mean,
John Cena.
he's like a real life superhero.
Sure.
For a
You know,
lot of people.
dude's awesome.
He's my son's favorite WWE superstar, and he has been for a long time.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know what I do with assholes? I lick them.
Like him.
But yeah, so that's all I got in the headlines.
Yeah. I mean, outside the ring, let's just be honest. He is the model of what a wrestler, you know, I'm not going to say should be, but you know what I mean? Like, that's just, he's just the best character.
Well,
you know what I mean?
He's
Yeah,
like
he
the model
shows-
of what a human should be.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
absolutely. But he shows that, you know, somebody in his position can obviously use it for good things.
Mhm.
So and not be a douche.
Yep. All right, guys. How about the fan shout out this week? It was our boy Dylan's birthday last Sunday. So
Wow.
happy birthday, Dylan!
Dylan, you turd. Happy birthday. You turd.
Cumpleaños. Happy birthday.
We're gonna see him down in Missouri week from
What?
Saturday.
Week from
the
Saturday.
25th. Yeah,
That's right.
Missouri? Is that in Cape Girardeau?
down in Missouri. He's coming to
Cape Girardeau. We'll be there.
Yeah,
I get
awesome.
to go this time. Hell yeah.
Hey, there you
With
go.
Killer Cross.
With Killer Cross, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. We're gonna be talking about that here shortly, but before we get to that, let's get to AJ's segment of the week. Let's see what he's got.
AJ's motivational speaker. Wait, you're kidding, right? Where does he even find this shit? Of the week.
Thank you, robot announcer. Like his,
Creative. Keeps us on our toes.
like robot announcer said, my I found a motivational speaker in the form of Mark Marrow, the former Johnny B. Is it Johnny B. Bad or Johnny B. Good?
Johnny be bad.
Whatever.
We're sorry.
The 2 Ds.
Fucking hate it.
2 Ds.
So yeah, he's a motivational speaker now. So I went online and I listened to many of his seminars. And here's what they boiled down to. I'm going to try and do his voice too, because it's very because you know how he kind of has like a high pitched voice anyways.
Sure.
So he like affects like a crying kind of speech pattern. Like it's, if you have dreams, you write down those dreams. You put them on the wall.
Why is he so warbly?
You look at those dreams every day, and those dreams will come true. Like everything is like that. Like he's on the brink of crying when he says anything, and they're all like your typical motivational speaker platitudes, like follow your dreams. You're defined by your choices. Failure is not aiming high and missing; it's swinging low and hitting. Which that doesn't make any fucking
You
sense.
literally said that. The exact line. Word for word. Good job.
Oh yeah, did I nail it?
Yeah, you nailed
Hell
it.
yeah.
Wait, aiming low and hitting?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
talking about
that's a
failure.
failure.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about the fruit? Hit that low hanging fruit.
Keep your hands off my low hanging fruit.
And he had a catchphrase too that I cannot remember.
Was
but
it?
He like shortened a word. It was like motive, like let's get motived or something like that instead of like motivated. Like like I think motivational speakers are cringy anyways, and Mark Marrow doing it is especially horrific. And I seriously watched about an hour and a half to 2 hours of Mark Marrow motivational speaking, and guess what? I am nowhere closer to following my dreams or aiming high and missing, or being defined by my choices, Mark Marrow. So, you know, I would like 2 hours of my time back. Thank you.
Let's see the picture where you wrote your dreams on the wall. Did you do it? Let's see let's take a picture.
Your wish board, dream board.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see your wish board.
It's right here. It says Subway sandwich.
That's a
That'd
pretty
be
good
$10
dream.
Subway.
That's
I got a
good. Yeah,
question for you
$10.
about this. Better or worse than Jim Hellwig motivational speaking? Like gonna be less racist, obviously. But
worse because it's also less ironically entertaining.
I mean, but you know, Mark Marrow at least has actually accomplished some stuff. Like he was like a Golden Gloves champion and like a serious like worker, and you know he married Sable, so there you go.
Sure.
At least, like I'm just saying, the guy like actually accomplished things.
He
in his
talks
life,
about that.
He
Does
does.
he? Why do you know
opener of
so much
every
about
WC
this? If AJ reviewed it, Primo.
He was the opener of every WCW pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Him and DDP.
I mean,
Every single
guaranteed paycheck, Mark
Because
Marrow.
I'm the guy who cuts the clips, and here's one right here.
Gotcha.
But I always thought when I was a little boy, if I was only rich and famous, I'd be happy. I've never been so empty in my entire life. I was rich, I was famous, I had a beautiful wife, I had a family, I had friends, I had it all. But because of my bad choices, I lost it all.
There it is.
So
He didn't.
clearly, the bad choice should have been one of his moves in WCW.
It was,
Because
wasn't it?
he had the bad day, the bad mood, not the
The
bad
ba-
choice though.
The bad.
He had a confetti gun, though.
He did. He had like
Somebody-
the cape.
Splooging confetti on the crowd.
I really liked the run he did with DDP for the.
I did too.
the
It was a
TV
good
title.
couple
That
of
was a
matches.
great run.
It's unfortunate that there was a beast that came around that started dating Sable.
Started basically humping his wife. Wait, wasn't there a feud about like bingo money or something like that?
No, DDP won the bingo money. Kimberly won the bingo money, and that's why he was rich now, and that's why he was being like an arrogant
Bingo
prick.
money.
But
Bingo
Mero wanted
money.
the belt, and he also wanted Kimberly as his ring valet, so she could hold up the cards for him instead. And then
So
he
what
won
happened-
and got Kimberly, and Kimberly was like, "Uh-oh."
So what happened to the bingo money?
I think he invested it into DDP Yoga, and now helps everybody else in the world.
He bought
Another
That's cool.
lovely wrestler.
Quite the take from Bingo.
he invested it in Marrow coin.
Hey, DDP had dreams, and he wrote them on the wall.
He wrote it on the wall. He wrote DDP yoga. Slapped it
It's like on the wall.
Someday.
Oh my god.
And he wrote marrow coin on the wall.
Marrow coin.
He does this stuff seriously. We're just over here shitting.
I know, just shitting all over it.
I've got a different take than you guys. Good for you, Mark Marrow. If you're trying to help people get, good for you, buddy.
I'm gonna say get better at it, Mark Marrow. That's the end of that.
Poor Mark Marrow. Oh, poor Mark Marrow.
Oh boy.
Hello guys, this is RPD, former professional boxer, now professional wrestler. And you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
All right, welcome to the show, everybody. It's time to talk about what we're going to talk about today. We got a full pod for you, including the WWE Hell in a Cell reactions and finding out who won the Kurt Angle trophy between Primo and myself. Michael is back as well, so that means he has the undead rankings for each promotion. And the dropkick discussion today is Tully Blanchard versus Magnum TA from Starrcade 1985, the famous I Quit match. This one's going to be fun to talk about here as 1985 wrestling was pretty crazy in NWA. And also, I got a quick game of Last Man Standing for the boys today.
Yes.
And lastly, to wrap up the show, our friend Ethan Edwards, he is the general manager of Odyssey Pro Wrestling over in the UK. He stops by to discuss a huge card that Odyssey Pro Wrestling is having on June the 18th, and it's called Mutiny, where two former guests of our pod in separate matches are going to be on the card. You just heard RPD, Ryan Paul Davies right before we came in there, and then Rick Marcus, the Cumbrian Outlaw, is going for the Odyssey Championship that night. So they have huge matches in singles competition. So that's going to be a great card to talk about there on June the 18th in Morecambe. So we got a lot to talk about here, Primo, man. Kick us off.
This is Levi Cooper.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins.
This is Big B.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, and you're listening.
You're listening.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks. Sit Down Marks.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
So what we got on some
Yeah.
wrestling here and doing?
You're muted.
All right, here we go. All right, it's time for the indie roundup. Last Friday, AJ and I, that's cool with me because I butchered that anyway. So AJ and I got to do one of the coolest things we've gotten done since we started working for Iron Spirit Pro. This time we got to set up a baseball field, we got to set up a wrestling ring on the concourse of a baseball field. And it was really cool with the baseball in the backdrop. So basically, there was two games going on that day. There was a doubleheader. We got to have three wrestling matches in between both the games. So basically, intermission in between the doubleheader. So we had about 35 minutes, and I think we pulled it off like right at 35 minutes. and it was 3 awesome matches. Everybody in the stadium, or close to everybody in the stadium, I think, came over and watched the matches during it. It was just like a quick little 3-match deal, but ended up being totally awesome. AJ is kind of taking over now as one of the color commentators.
Hell yeah.
I stepped into a ring announcer's role for the first time because it was a small show, small budget, that kind of stuff. So, but we had a blast. AJ, you want to talk about it?
So, first of all, it was awesome because it was a beautiful day, and we had baseball going on, and so the ring was all set up, and like we were expecting, like the baseball stadium, it wasn't like a sellout crowd. We don't want to make it sound like there were 4,000 people that came over, but we were expecting, like, if we got 100 or whatever, like, to come over, like, and check out the exhibition, that'd be cool. But there were so many people that walked over, like, during the intermission between the 2 games, and they were into it too. Like, the boys at Iron Spirit, like the wrestlers, really put on a show for these people. Yeah. And Dirty Bird had the best line when you said, "Hello, baseball fans. Are you ready to become wrestling fans?" And I'm pretty sure everyone who left there. It was really good.
Nice. That's a great line.
See, I wouldn't have thought of that. And I got to do color commentary, which this is going to be my thing now because it's so much fun. Yeah. Me and Professor Steve. He's awesome.
Steve.
Yeah,
he's great. Listener of the pod too. Shout out to Steve.
Yeah, he's great. He's great calling the matches. And he and I like to like, he stole my pun gimmick this week because last time I did it, I just made corn puns the whole time. And this time he stole my puns, which had me laughing when I was trying to do color commentary. So it was great.
We got the crowd worked up in the beginning because Corn Boy, who was, obviously, he got to throw out the first pitch. So they went out and did a spot for the first pitch, got the crowd worked up about it. And then they finished off, in the match. And it was a great night, man. It turned out to be really awesome. I was pretty happy with how everything turned out. And I got to use more sunscreen. I know that. Like, geez, my neck.
You had a funny sunburn.
I did. I got to use it. Yeah, I did. It was crazy. But anyway, we're coming back July the 16th at the Station Saloon that you've heard me talk about. That's the next Iron Spirit Pro show coming up. And then we'll be talking about that more later on next week. But AJ and I are going to be down at CCW in Cape Girardeau, Missouri with Dylan. And if you're hearing this for the first time, they just announced Killer Cross and Scarlett are going to be there. And Killer Cross is going to be involved in a 6-man tag team match. F&M Memorabilia are the ones bringing in Killer Cross and Scarlett. So they're going to be doing a meet and greet, I think, maybe autograph signing, that kind of stuff. So Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Saturday, June 25th. All right, let's get to some results here and some recap action on some actual wrestling. Let's talk about what's been going on here. So I'll kick it off this week. SmackDown last week. This was the SmackDown right before we went the go home SmackDown before Hell in a Cell. So more New Day and the Bloody Brutes. Are they bloody brutes? Primo, you're not saying smack me down?
Smacking it down, baby.
Okay, give it to me, dog. Give it to me. Yeah, they bloody brutes, or what are they?
They are the bloody brutes.
They are the bloody brutes. Okay.
The blood brooders.
Okay.
The bludgeony bloody brutes.
The blood bludgeons.
The blood bludgeons. Max Dupree.
No.
I don't even know how. It's like he's saying it different now. I don't even know. But anyway, he's going to unveil his new client next week. I'm reading online some saying it's going to be this Vinny. Not Vinny Da Vinci. One of the newer guys on SmackDown. I can't think of his name at the moment. But anyway, so have you guys seen Shanky dancing? Gender's Lackey. Have y'all seen Shanky?
Yes, I did.
I mean, I've seen it.
The Shanky dance.
It's It's not pretty, but it's funny. It's like he's just
Shanky baby.
the shanky,
The Shanky baby. Very good.
Clever.
Yeah.
Natalia won a 6-pack challenge, so she gets a shot at Ronda's title. I guess that's going to be Money in the Bank. I'm assuming since they're starting to set up matches. Yeah. All right.
I never know because they always wait until like 8 seconds before to be like, "Oh, here's all of our build," blah, 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 blah. And then then it's just there. It is. I don't know. I'm going to go on. No, I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm trying not to go on a rant. I'm very anti wrestling right now. I'll get into that later.
I could have really gone for a bigger build for Natty versus Ronda because like they're besties. There's besties and there's a story there. Like you got the hardened wrestler versus the hardened MMA fighter. Like that's a hell of a good story.
Will she tap out to the sharpshooter?
Everyone taps out to the sharpshooter.
Sure, everyone.
That match would be. That match could be really, really fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
that's a Scorpion Deathlock.
Submission match.
People can get out of the Scorpion Deathlock, but the sharpshooter.
It's because you turn the other way.
That's right. But I mean, if they do it at Money in the Bank, then they got time to tell a little bit of a story. Then you get to it. You know what I mean?
I'm a fan of the Cloverleaf myself.
Texas
little Dean Malenko?
Texas Cloverleaf.
You turd.
Dean Malenko had the best one. All right, so main event, more Riddle versus Bloodline. Nakamura gets hurt in the match with Nakabro versus Bloodline. Nakamura gets hurt in the match, and then so basically it's Riddle versus Usos by himself. Usos win. Riddle attacks him post-match. And he's saying, "This ain't over. You don't take Randy from me." Basically telling the Usos that. So
but you know what? It's like,
"'Cause you're the twos and we the ones."
Right.
Am I a robot?
No, you're good.
AJ's out.
It just couldn't take any more.
No, I'm still here.
He doesn't like to be the twos and the ones.
You guys got anything for SmackDown before I run on to NXT in your house?
Nope. Go for it.
Nothing. Okay.
I do not. No.
Nah.
Okay. All right. So NXT in your house was a somewhat kind of pretty quickly put together pay-per-view, and they can kind of put in your house on it, and it's kind of just a little bit of an elevated NXT show. They still do it there. It's not in anybody else's house. It's just
it's in your house.
It's in your house.
In your house. Yeah. So Tony D'Angelo's family beat El Legado Fantasma, so El Legado Fantasma has to join the family. Simultaneous jerk off by AJ.
Yep.
Toxic Attraction retained the tag titles. Carmelo Hayes won back the NXT North American title from Cameron Grimes for the second time. Let's talk about this one. This one was a little quick. Unless it's going to be a call-up.
For Cameron Grimes?
Yeah, should have held it a little longer.
You make him go all the way.
To the
moon. Maybe that's right.
Come on, AJ. Come on, one time.
I won't do it. No, I'll do it one time and completely surprise you guys. And then you'll be like, don't ever do that again.
You're like, how dare you?
That is our thing. You be quiet.
Okay,
go find some weird wrestling toys or something.
Mandy retained versus Wendy Choo, thank God.
Yeah.
All right, match of the night, though. Creed Brothers defeated Pretty Deadly to finally win the NXT Tag Team titles. This was awesome. This was a great match.
Who called that one?
Yeah. This was dope, man. These Pretty Deadly dudes, I haven't seen a lot of. I probably watched 5 or 6 matches of them before they showed up in NXT, ever. You know what I mean? And they've gotten so much better, but they can get cats over, man. I'm trying to figure out who they remind me of at the whole brothers gimmick kind of stuff, like literal brothers,
Motor City Machine Guns.
No. But this was a good match. Glad to see the titles on Creed Brothers finally. So that was cool. I hope Pretty Deadly stays around for a while. They announced July the 5th NXT show will be the Great American Bath, baby. I've dined with kings and queens and ate cans of pork and beans. But I'm
your Dusty impression is getting pretty good.
I'm gonna be the world's heavyweight champion come Great American Bash, baby. And then Braun Breaker beat Joe Gacy, of course, right?
Yeah.
So basically, tag titles the only thing, and Carmelo won too, but so this was okay. All right, so let's get to Hell in a Cell because I know you guys are ready to
when
get
Carmelo shoots, he don't miss.
Yeah, it's true. I think him and Trick are going to fall out and have.
I've been waiting for it. Honestly, it's about time.
The only reason I kind of like Carmelo Hayes is because he's a Celtics fan like me, and I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Trick like crapped on Boston, and Carmelo kind of like looked at him sideways, like, "Hang on now." Like he said something about the Celtics, and he's like, "Hang on now." He's like, "Oh no." You know, so little tidbits there. So, all right, so Raw Women's title kicked off the show. I believe I got these in order. Raw Women's title. Bianca retained versus Becky and Asuka. Good match, clever finish. Becky got her finisher. Who took the pin? Asuka?
Asuka took the pin.
Yeah, on Asuka, and then Bianca jumped in, threw her out of the ring like Becky's done before, and win the match. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I think it was a decent call.
I thought it was a really good opener, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah, I did too. And
really
I wanted Asuka to win just because I love Asuka, but she shouldn't have. Bianca clearly should have retained, and I'm glad she did.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting having Asuka take the pin and just coming back so soon.
It doesn't
already
hurt
doing
her.
it.
Take Becky at all costs. They're
not ready to hop off the Becky train.
No, they're not.
Yeah. How do y'all? Speaking of, really quick, what do you think about her new gimmick? Like, she reminds me of like David Bowie from like a David Bowie video right now. Like,
how she's like so
the way she looks and
she looks like Ziggy Stardust. Is that
yes,
she's like, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she does look like Ziggy Stardust.
Thank you. You can't get out of your head now. So.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah,
I love David Bowie, and I love Becky, so put them together.
Going into this match, I kind of had arguments for all three. Like Asuka coming back, could put the belt on her, something fresh. Another run for Becky's eventually coming. I mean, I feel like Becky right now is kind of dull without the title a little bit.
It doesn't.
But her character is evolving, so I'm giving her that.
Yeah.
Also, you got to keep in mind, this whole thing was thrown together kind of last minute because Sasha and Naomi walked. So, it was supposed to be Naomi or Sasha versus...
Sasha. I think it's supposed to be Sasha.
So for something that was, kind of thrown together, pretty quickly, I thought it was pretty good. I thought they did a really good job with it.
Yeah. They did really good, especially, opening up, and they set the tone, and I'd say we'll continue and talk about Hell in a Cell, because that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's it. And I love Asuka, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I kind of forgot about about them walking out. So yeah, they're still kind of figuring out what direction they want to go with all that. So with all that being said, for sure, well, makes them kind of like the match even more now. So almost an MVP versus Lashley. Lashley won by Hurt Lock on MVP. Can we be done with this here?
Oh Lordy. There's a
that was a slow one.
Ejaculation.
Later in the pay-per-view, they did a replay of that match, and they cut to a clip. And I swear to God, I was just working and listening to it, and all I hear is this Omos scream of "Blah!" And I look over, he's just charging like a big tree, just coming at Bobby Lashley in the corner. And Bobby Lashley's got this look on his face, what the fuck?
Like a big tree.
Yeah, I could not stop laughing, but oh my God, that match was. The only thing I want to say about this is Omos. He's what he is. I like seeing MVP in the ring again, so that's good. Yeah. I like seeing he's always been really good.
Sure.
But the funniest thing about Lashley and Omos to me is whenever Omos takes that spear, it's the funniest thing.
Because he's gigantic.
Just,
yeah.
Black. Yeah. I don't know why it's so funny. Just black.
Next match was KO beating Ezekiel. This one, I guess Ezekiel's just, it's just going to be a joke, right? He's not winning any matches. The joke is the storyline. He's just, they're not serious with him. So okay.
Nope. It's like,
All right,
whatever.
Madcap Moss. Did he put the final nail in the coffin on this Happy Corbin feud? This one was put together. Moss actually looked like a wrestler. He
I was about to say that. Yeah. He had on just like black tights, black knee pads. No suspenders. You're correct on that. So I just think
Thank
that
God.
maybe he's gonna start getting a little more serious.
I certainly hope so, because the Madcap Moss character is straight dumpster fire.
Oh yeah.
I can't
I agree.
stand it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
He's never really. He's been Riddick Moss, Madcap Moss. I don't know that he's really been too much of anything else other than kind of the same gimmick. He was a little bit of like a Evolution type character. Him and that other guy that had the really long last name. They were kind of wearing suits and fancy cars and stuff for a little while. And, but he's never really had like a direction for a character. It's always kind of been, kind of like the other guy. But yeah, so we'll see what they do with him. Next up, Judgment Day beat AJ, Liv, and Finn after a Edge spear on Finn. Knowing what we already know now, I guess we'll just leave that and talk about it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Theory retained U.S. title versus Ali. We all seen that coming.
Oh, real quick, I got something for you.
Sure.
About the Judgment Day one. When did Styles bust himself open?
I don't know.
I didn't see any. It was just like all of a sudden I just seen him. He hit a forearm on Priest, and he's just red. I was like, "What the hell did that?"
I'm not entirely sure, but he's starting to get into a habit of busting himself open.
Yes,
on pay-per-views.
Come on, Mr. Styles, knock it off.
What was it at WrestleMania? He ran into the stage, or the
yeah.
And then he tore his tights so you could see his bum the entire time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's better than his fucking bag, like he could with Pac when he was when he was Neville. Just his ball bag hanging out.
That's just balls everywhere.
By the way, it was Tino Sabatelli, who.
There you go.
There it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They were kind of these playboy richie kids.
Tino Sabatelli.
Tino Sabatelli was one of the original classes of NXT that
I'm trying to
stayed there forever and then got injured a lot. I don't think it had anything to do with his talent stuff because kid looked like $1 million and wrestled pretty damn good. I think he just stayed injured a lot. Maybe lacked a little personality for character wise, but
dang, that dude's with Mandy Rose.
Who? Tino Sabatelli?
Tino Sabatelli, yeah.
You mean Sabatino Piscatelli?
Been with Mandy Rose since Sabatino Piscatelli, correct. Been with Mandy Rose since 2018. Good for him.
Good for him.
There you go.
Also, anywhere I can see more Rhea Ripley, I'm pro. I love Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
she's awesome. She's so good.
Y'all like her long boys or short boys?
I like her short boys
better. I like the short boys because she's got the tats that kind of like make up for the long boys.
Sure.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
What do you think about seeing her in something other than black?
It was interesting because
they matched a little bit.
Yeah,
they did.
A little purple in it, didn't they?
I love the spot where she smeared her lipstick up her face.
Yes,
that was the little touches like that are just rah. So good.
Yep. Yeah. I want to talk about that in a little bit, but let's talk about main event, boys. Cody versus Seth. Obviously, the talk all night was Cody coming into the match with a torn pectoral muscle, which was absolutely gross. So they had to work around the energy all night, proving once again how much of a goddamn professional Seth fucking Rollins is as getting through this match. And I'll go ahead and say this too, the Monday spot too as well, getting through the storyline like they did, just like you could just, if there for a while, not if you couldn't see the injury, it just looked like a regular match. I mean, obviously they were using Cody's, I think it was his left arm mostly, but so Cody wins after a sledgehammer spot and a few crossroads, And so now we obviously know they're all in on Cody, but he's going to be out for a while. They're teasing him and Money in the Bank. He was, or on down the line. Talk about that from Monday as well. But are you guys? What I want to ask is, a lot of people are deeming this match a classic. I want to know, you guys, is it, or is it just because of the injury? Or, the match was good. I thought the match was pretty awesome.
I will say this. I watched it twice.
Okay.
I did enjoy it. And are we not going to talk about Seth Rollins' tights?
Though Dusty Rhodes, baby.
The Dusty Rhodes type, baby.
But no, for sure, though, for real, though, I seriously watched it twice. But I actually enjoyed the match. I've enjoyed all three of their matches that they had. They're just, and I was trying to explain this to my wife, who is a non-wrestling fan. She's a wrestling fan by proxy, I guess.
Sure.
But that, the best person they could have picked, or just it's all circumstantial, but it was the best situation for Cody Rhodes to be in this feud with Seth Rollins with his injury, because Seth Rollins is obviously an absolute professional, and he will take care of you so much. So I was trying to explain that to my wife, Mrs. Primo, and I was like even pointing out some things like, you see that, like, what the things they did to work around the injury, and how, they made it look as if there were certain times where Seth was still really banging him up. And I mean, Seth is just a pro.
Yeah. Yeah. Cody sold whether he was hurting or not. The whole
I'm sure he was.
All that. Yeah. I mean, you can't. That isn't makeup airbrushed on there, is it?
I like how they talked about whenever we all knew he was injured, but up until that point, that's all we knew. Nobody had seen the extent yet. And when he took off his jacket, the hush fell over the crowd.
Sure.
And even the commentators were like, fuck.
Sure.
Yeah, it was one of those where you go,
exactly.
Eesh. Yeah, it was gross. But I will say that it was fucking awesome. Like, this match was so good. It made, like, Seth Rollins is already arguably the number 2 star in the company. And I mean, it didn't put him on the same level as Roman Reigns, obviously, but because of this match and because of this feud, both he and Cody both kind of like went bloop. So now it's like Roman Reigns, Seth and Cody, everyone else down here.
Yeah, right?
Yes. Instant classic, I don't know, but it was really, really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. I say definitely enjoyable.
Yep. Michael, what'd you think, man, before we finish up here?
I thought the match was really good considering everything involved in it. Just a couple things I liked about it a lot. I know Cody Rhodes going out there and actually doing the match was just damn. Like you said, the moment he took that jacket off, you're like, how's he gonna do this?
Right. Yeah.
The only real criticism I have of the match is the finish of it. And the reason I say that, it's not because I want, Cody to lose or anything like that. It's because you give Rollins a legitimate reason to go over here, but also, he didn't get him at his best, right? So you can continue the feud a little bit down the line because they're putting on great matches. I just thought that when this injury dropped in their lap, and they did a great job working around it. I just thought you could get a little bit more mileage out of it and maybe have another return match after Cody healed up later. So you could tell the story that Rollins beat him, but Cody was only 60%. So
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
But otherwise, great match, though. It was really good.
Cody finally hit the pedigree.
Yes, he did.
Right, yeah. And a sledgehammer was involved.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Triple H is back, so in case you didn't learn. All right. So before we move to Raw, I want to say real quick, let's talk about this real fast. So Cody, AEW Cody versus WWE Cody. This, I mean, like this time, like what a total 180, right? Because in AEW got kind of boss man Cody was trying to, get on the card. Everybody's wanting him to go to like a backstage role, getting booed.
Yep.
And now, not really wanting to be seen, you know what I mean? And just, storylines, just, And now here he is, change of face, change of company, like such an over baby face, like talking title run, maybe Money in the Bank winner. Like
I saw a stat that says since his WWE return in April, Cody Rhodes has already had more matches than he did in the previous 13 months.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Something else to think about, the AEW run. I don't think it was Cody's in-ring work or anything like that. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Brandy is such a heat magnet that it just spills over onto him no matter what's going on. Like, AEW fans hated Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah.
And he got it because, by proxy, I think, I can't speak for all of them, but it just seemed like that to me, that there was an unfair hatred of Cody Rhodes because of Brandy.
Well, I think that it was in AEW, Cody just kept getting in his own way. Like if he just would have not booked himself the way he booked himself, or not, because they don't have writers in AEW. Like the performers come up with their own storylines, and so I think he just got in his own way. And now in WWE, he doesn't have that problem. Like he can't get in his own way, basically.
Yeah, and he won the TNT title in Greensboro, and then turned around and lost it on the next week on Dynamite. You know what I mean? It just it just seemed like he had too much hands on his own career, I guess there. But yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. And a lot of people that didn't like him in AEW. Like I wasn't a big fan. I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of him in AEW. This role in WWE, yes. Like I like this. I like where they're going. Call me an old school guy, but I like how they bring up Dusty ever so often, and you know what I mean. Dusty was never WWE champion. Dustin wasn't either. Cody's going to be the first, at some point. So I'm loving this like different storyline, but just I just feel like he made the right move. Doesn't it seem like the right move right now?
Absolutely, it does.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Definitely. Yeah. Here's something crazy to think about, too. What happens if MJF shows up in WWE with Cody Rhodes there? I want this to happen so much.
WWE is going to get a big guy from AEW. Just watch. It's going to happen because money talk. Yeah. It always does.
I bet we all have an inkling of who it's going to be, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Raw. Everybody get your Mr. Kennedy voices ready from Green Bay, Wisconsin. There you go. So Cody comes out to address the crowd. What? You got something to say about Mr. Kennedy?
Mr.
Right.
No,
Kennedy! Kennedy! All right. So Cody comes out to address the crowd. Obviously, he's going to be gone for a while. Seth Rollins then comes out to say that he respects him. We all buy it. And he shakes his hand. And then, Seth leaves. Cody leaves. He goes up the ramp. And then Seth shows up with the ye old sledgehammer on the ramp. He attacks Cody, and then the drama really comes in as Cody struggles to get to his feet after the security guard finally separates both of them and basically just gets Seth off Cody. Cody isn't doing anything back because he can't really do much with a torn pectoral that's basically running down his arm.
Right,
and
also affects his legs.
Right, yeah. So so he struggled to get to his feet for what seemed like 20 minutes of the show, but I was still like, come on, Cody. Come on, Cody. Get up. So I'm guessing now this is they're going to end it on this. Cody's going to leave.
So in the ring, he says, before Seth came out, he says, the trilogy is over. I'm officially done with Seth. And he says, and he points up. He talks about the Money in the Bank briefcase. He talks about now what would it be like for me to climb that ladder and grab that briefcase. All that nonsense, which is only 4 weeks' time, which, by the way, Cody's having surgery, I think. Maybe even today it was. But
it was today. Yep.
So I feel like this was a good way for Cody to still show that Cody is a tough SOB that's sticking to his word, trying to anyway, to the best of his ability, and then for Seth to put him out. So it's like against his will,
if you will,
baby. But it's against what Cody wanted to do. Like, he's trying to show the WWE and the WWE universe, like, even though I'm hurt, I still plan on being there at Money in the Bank. But obviously, I read up a torn pec. Now he's a super athlete, but torn pec takes 3 to 6 months to heal, something like that.
Right.
So yeah, come on.
All right. So the rest of Raw was Becky and Dana Brooke had a match. The 24/7 title got interfered during Becky's match. Dana Brooke pinned Tozawa, and so Dana became the 24/7 title winner. And then so Becky grabs a mic and says, well, if you're the 24/7 champion, then you're going to have to put the title up in this match. So Dana goes, okay. So she does, but Dana retains after getting the pin on Becky with a little help from Asuka.
What I thought was funny about that was Becky was like, don't be doing that shit in the middle of a match with me.
Right, yeah. You ain't, we ain't doing that in the middle of my matches. Nobody wins titles unless it's me in my matches. But and then here we go, boys. As expected, John Cena is showing up in Laredo, Texas, June 27th. There we go.
Yep.
And go ahead.
Oh no, that's
y'all were just.
Oh, I got something.
I thought y'all were waving me down. Yeah. There you go. Riddle beats The Miz after interrupting Miz TV with Maurice. By the way, looking very, very Maurice-y. He won by RKO, which was funny.
That segment was actually funny. The talking segment beforehand, where he was like talking about. Like, it's this new thing where it's not new, but I guess it's what they're doing now, where Riddle gets pissed off when people bash on Randy. Mm-hmm. He's like, don't you say that. And he gets all serious.
Yep. So
I do like that.
So that was kind of funny. Uso and the Street Profits kind of begin their feud. So does Theory and Lashley. Lashley's going to be the new contender for the U.S. title. Mysterios are back. They're back to feud with Veer, so they kind of picked that back up again. I know you guys were tuning in, hoping that was going to happen.
That was,
yeah, man. That was like I was just on the edge of my seat. Yeah.
Okay.
Go Dominics! Yay!
All right, so let's talk about what happened on Raw, the real stuff. So the new member of the Judgment Day, as promised by Edge, is AJ's boy Finn Balor. And then once Finn is introduced, Rhea, Damian, and Finn all turn on Edge. And probably the quickest faction turn on a leader in history, maybe, I guess. But they put Edge through an announcer's table. They bashed his head on a chair. So you guys think they maybe pulled the plug on this to focus on the Cena SummerSlam match?
Well, I think it's because they... In losing Cody right now, they're losing their top babyface. So now they're, dependable, reliable, old trusty Edge. So, be your new top babyface for now. They need somebody, and obviously they're also calling in the big gun, Cena.
Go.
I can't even begin to discuss how much I hated this.
I mean, I didn't say I agree with it. I just that's one of my assumptions.
So, Finn joining Judgment Day, awesome. Like, when he came out, I was like, sweet, something for Finn to do. heel Finn is fantastic. You know, this Judgment Day stable, you know, is awesome. And then they turn on Edge. And I seriously, like, I was sitting there, like, trying to take notes, and I seriously went, I was done.
All I could think about was, like, they have an entire entrance. What are they going to do now?
Wasn't the whole point of Edge being the leader? Like, he was the crafty. I've been there. I can show you the way.
Yes,
to the promised land. And now they're like, fuck your promised land.
Who are a bunch of pissed off teenagers?
They didn't write their goals on the wall. That's why. That's why they didn't make it.
Who the fuck is gonna lead that stable now?
I mean,
Damian fucking Priest?
No, I think Finn, and maybe they changed the name.
I hated it so much. Club? So you know how, like, every now and then, every couple of years, you have those moments where you're like, I'm fucking done with wrestling.
Yes.
So this moment combined with AEW, I was almost ready to be like, all right, I'm still on the show. I'll still, like, do the bullshit, but I'm not watching any fucking WWE or AEW for the foreseeable future.
So here's a question for you, and this is I'm not trying to take the piss out of you here, but this is a genuine question. Was this like a camel was backs broken with too many straws situation, or was this like a nuclear blast where you're like, I can't right now?
A little bit of both. It was such a stupid fucking booking decision that I could barely contain my confusion for it. And it just goes with the whole, what Primo said, like they need a new top babyface. Rather than build up anyone for the last 2 years, they have to rely on Edge, who is one of the most entertaining
my top
heels.
5 heels, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just going to go back to Edge, as opposed to having, there's no one else. No other performer that could jump to that babyface role.
Two things.
Go ahead, Primo.
I just want to say, I saw this meme today that was like, it had a picture of Edge. It was like when you cut your hair to fit in with the cool kids and they still kick you out. And then I just saw a sidebar conversation. Does he keep the new Alter Bridge song or go back to his other Alter Bridge song?
Oh, see, now there's a question. You know, there's this one guy that could have taken that top face spot. He was a Universal Champion. He's beloved world over. He's part of the Balor Club. That's very inclusive for everybody. I think his name's Finn Balor. I mean, he's just, super over, has a great entrance, has charisma, can talk. He's great on the mic. He's a proven person.
And I mean, AJ's still out there too.
Yeah, that AJ Styles guy. Who needs him? Get him out of here.
And then to finish the show, Rhea Ripley won the number 1 contender match, so she's number 1 contender to Bianca's title. So
which I'm fine with. That's cool.
Yeah. Rhea Ripley, awesome. More Rhea Ripley.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it just seems like they pulled the plug. Are they going to rename the faction? I don't know, but
I hope so.
Everything
about it was Edge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Damian Priest, the thing holding us back is you. No one fucking isn't, you moron.
The thing holding you back is it's been 3 months. Give us
because y'all haven't been going long enough to be held back.
Yeah, like, he's the only thing that's putting you in the spotlight, Damian. You
I'll
fucking
say this.
joke.
You've only feuded with 3 people.
The Judgment Day had got over with me enough to this point to where when they said in my time zone, the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to announce the new person of the Judgment Day. I watched Raw live just to that point of the show.
Sure. Yep.
Were you like, I'm done?
I went to bed immediately afterwards.
I don't get, there's so many questions that WWE is not going to answer for me. So I'm just going to stare blankly at the wall and write on my dream board, answer Judgment Day questions.
I feel like whenever something happens that is unexpected to them, because they like to have, well, we would like to think so. They would like to have plans drawn out, a few months in advance.
Sure.
Do they though?
However, that's what I was thinking. However, when shit happens unexpectedly, they panic. And they're like, Edge.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see where they go with it. So let's move on to NXT here, and I'll be done with WWE, and we can talk about all the happenings at AEW. So
I think I might be done with WWE.
I remember Tia Hale was the girl that chose Chase University last week. So she got her certificate of enrollment. So that was kind of funny.
That's
and
usually
then
an email.
What's that?
So that's usually an email.
It's usually an email. Yeah. They had to put some drama on it. So Santos Escobar with the family, including D'Angelo and everyone else, wrestled against Nathan Fraser. So the family tried to help Santos win, but Nathan ended up winning by Phoenix Splash. So there's turmoil already inside the family, so to speak. And then we had a return, boys. Good old Apollo Crews is back. He returns to challenge Braun Breaker, but says they will challenge each other at another date. That he just wanted to let him know that he is back.
Yeah, I read that both him and Aziz are down in NXT now. And another note, I pulled up a YouTube video just for Mrs. Primo to see. His Nigerian accent has vanished. He's back to regular Apollo.
Yes, he is.
Which I'm thankful for. I've always liked Apollo. Personally, I was kind of meh with his main roster run, but I hoped for more. I like him. But I found it kind of hard to accept the whole Nigerian character he had going on, not because of what it was, but because you can't expect me to know what your real voice sounds like and then try to get over some accent that you just started doing.
Just for fun, almost.
Fair point.
Well, Kofi did it, right?
He did the accent and then switched to his regular voice.
Yeah, he didn't go from no accent to no accent.
Oh, so they're saying they can only go one way.
Yeah,
one way accent and then no. You can't go no and then accent.
Yeah, I didn't know any better with Kofi until he talked regular.
Right.
With the Apollo like telling Braun like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm here now." Wouldn't Braun be like, "Yeah, I saw you backstage"? Like
he's like, "Dude, yeah, we
locker room.
We were just in catering like 2 seconds ago.
You had a chicken sandwich, like it was delicious.
Right.
We talked about it for 5 minutes, dude.
I will say because he did have a good run back in 2016, 2015 when he was in NXT. NXT crowd was pretty psyched to have him there, and I gotta say it's a good addition to NXT.
Well, I just like how he was like, "Hey, I'm here now. I'm gonna go over there now." But
he's like, "Hey, just wanted to."
But just so you know,
I'm Apollo. I have a name tag here.
I'm here.
I'm
okay, I'm gonna go that way. Okay.
He should just send pictures of himself around the arena they're in to Braun Breaker.
Like, now I'm here.
Currently in the parking lot.
He's holding the corn dog. Now I'm at concession.
But yeah, no, I am glad he is in NXT because he was just kind of floundering on the main roster, not by any of his fault. They just weren't doing anything with him.
Well, it is a little his fault. Like I like Apollo in the ring. He's a really talented guy, but like he can't cut a promo, and
that's fair. That's fair.
Talking's never been his strong suit, but like that's why give him a manager. Then the dude can go in the ring, and I would thought you would give him a manager to hide that weakness, but I don't know, just silly thoughts I have.
So Joe Gacy finally answers a question we've been talking about. Instead of, I guess he's calling him the Dyad. I think it's how he pronounced it. I think anyway.
Dyad.
Said the Dyad will soon be seen. I'm assuming this is the Druids or whoever they are. So anyway, so he said that.
His cloaked individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. His
Roxanne Perez, Roxy, whatever you want to call her, she won the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. And then Pretty Deadly beat Andre, Chase, and Bodie, which was a pretty good match there. So there's a new little feud going on there between Pretty Deadly and Chase U. And then we find out finally that Giovanni Vinci is it Vinci, whatever however they've been saying it. It's Fabian Ackner who's been repackaged. That was once in the Imperium. with
Yeah.
Gunther
Yep.
and.
Yes, correct.
Why dyad?
Because it's 2 parts.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that what a dyad is? Like something with 2 parts?
Yeah, dies too. Yeah.
The main part of like dyad though is they have to have like a completely significant relationship. Like that's what it has to be to make it a dyad.
Yeah, that's what a dyad. It's not just 2 things.
It's not just like it's not just like people hanging out. It's like peanut butter and jelly. They got that relationship. That's a triad.
There's Joe Gacy and two cloaked people.
Yeah, would that be a triad?
I don't know.
Triad.
So the main event was Apollo Crews joining Solo Sikoa to beat Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller.
By the way, I was doing this live while I was watching this in front of my wife, and she's just like, "What the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?"
Apollo Crews got the pin on Grayson Waller. So that will wrap it up, boys, for WWE. AJ, we got a lot in AEW to talk about, man. Get us rolling here.
Well, let's start with the after show, the Double or Nothing, where CM Punk makes his first appearance as the AEW World Champion. I was so psyched. It was going to be amazing. His first match is with FTR. So you have CM Punk, who is one of my favorites, FTR, who are 2 of my favorites. Holy shit, were they over, as they should be, against fucking Max goddamn Caster and the Gun Club.
There it
is. You have 3 of my most beloved performers. Yo.
He just kept calling them ass boys.
Ass boys, yeah. So I loved the whooping that CM Punk and FTR put on fucking useless 3 douchebags. God, I hated them so much.
What's the other guy's name? Max Caster. What's his other guy? The guy in the wheelchair?
Well, you mean currently in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
Fuck,
I cannot remember his name.
I can't either.
But I was just laughing because him and Billy Gunn were doing the scissor thing.
Yeah. But then he like I already hate his little like rap battles that he does because I think they're uninspired and stupid. And he made like an Amber Heard joke, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. I am so sick of your presence. Like, go, just shut up.
Right.
But
however,
she's culturally relevant right now.
I was not a fan.
I noticed he does that. Whatever is in the current events this week.
He shoehorns it into whatever stupid rap he's gonna make. I hate the gimmick so much.
You know how you can go back and watch like classic wrestling, like I don't know, Tully Blanchard versus Magnum TA, and it holds up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that immediately date the hell out of that match?
Yes. It's why no one listens to Eminem's first 2 albums anymore. It's because no one fucking cares about Fred Durst. So they're not going to fucking go back and listen to raps
argue about who he gave VD to?
Yeah, like who the fuck is Christina Aguilera? Like shut the fuck up. Completely goddamn gated. God. I'm needlessly angry tonight. Anyways.
I'm loving this. I love everything that's going on right now.
So this isn't like, we'll get to my part where I'm over AEW. It has nothing to do with AEW, but we'll get to there. So to make this even more awesome and the future is looking even brighter for AEW, who comes out to be revealed as CM Punk's opponent at Forbidden Door but Hiroshi Tanahashi. Holy fuck, I almost bonered all over the place. That's right, just bonered. Just bonered everywhere.
It was like there were no splooge involved. It was just a bunch of boners.
Just a bunch of boners producing more boners.
I was pretty bonered by that too, dude.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable. So
rock hard.
Yes. So then we have the MJF promo.
Tanahashi's gonna come all over him.
Just all over him. Blart. Just blah. MJF promo. What do you guys think? How much of this was shoot? How much of this was work? Now he's off the roster. Is that like what's going on here?
I think work shoot.
One or two. Yeah, exactly. It's my opinion as well. I think it was a planned work, and part of it he kind of went a little too far.
Yeah, as he does. But that's why he's so good.
Right, and that's the part where like I saw that, you know, Warner Brothers Media has removed him from certain things
Because he dropped the old F-bomb.
Right.
Yep.
And also, it's like, but is it like the ultimate work by AEW? Like,
no.
I mean, he has been frustrated for a while now.
Oh yeah, and that's known.
Yeah.
Well, also, here's the thing too about like Warner Media, especially like considering they just got all those new executives in. All of those shows were like that they were showcasing once the new people came in, right? They were supposed to like highlight, oh, here's the best and stuff, and AEW reportedly did not get a really good representation on it. And so when they have a bunch of people that are like closely looking at the product now from an executive level, and then you have good old MJF, which don't get me wrong, I loved this promo because I was like, you heel, you perfect heel.
Yes,
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I know, right?
When it comes on you, fucking Mark, I was like, yes.
I was
my boots.
I was like, how can I use this for the podcast?
Well, also then he's like, you fans are idiots for cheering me. You don't know what the hell you're talking about or what you're doing. I was like, oh my god, MJF, you are the heeliest of the heel. I love it.
He said, you love me because I'm the only one that can make you feel.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Goddamn right. Like
a lot of good spots or words in that promo.
He talked about how him being severely underpaid, and he was one of the ones that came in when the company's inception, but he's responsible for a lot of the moments since the beginning.
Yeah,
which is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
he's 100% correct.
He's the biggest heel in the world right now.
And I did like how CM Punk is the one who came out to kind of like calm him down.
He was trying to hurt him. He was like, hey.
Yeah. And then he like took off through the crowd. I thought so. Excellent work.
Come on, kid. Come on.
So a lot of people are comparing it to CM Punk's pipe bomb, which if you go back and listen to both of them, they share a lot of the same word choice and kind of cadence and everything. So, whatever. It was still compelling as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Up next, we have Johnny Elite versus who?
I forgot to say, I think it's all work, by the way.
If it is,
every damn bit of it.
Really? It's fucking genius.
So.
It's genius. If it is.
I think they're telling him to run with it. Blur the lines. Let's be in the headlines, good or bad.
Like Brilliant. I said, I do think initially it was definitely a planned work. Like they were like, go out there and just, fuck it up. Right. And then he kind of maybe was like, I got a hot mic. So let's go.
Here I go.
Like he's a smart enough guy to be able to get the work angle, like have some people to agree to give him a live mic. But there was definitely an element of there, and that was shoot. Like it's funny though because that's how you can tell it's a great promo. You can't tell. Like
yeah.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? We're talking about it, right?
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Yeah. Blur the lines, man. Every time.
MJF, one of the best talkers in the business, possibly the best heel in the business right now, and dude is worth so much more everywhere. He's
getting top dollar wherever
oh my god. Definitely. And he'll earn it too. Like he'll deserve it. He's he's the best. He's so good.
Does he, or does he show like this rebellious, like anti-establishment guy, like that doesn't want to listen?
You mean kind of like a Brian Pillman kind of person?
I don't know. Like, I could see him going the whole, you know what? I'm going to go with whoever's going to pay me more, and you guys can just go fuck yourselves. Because that's kind of like his whole, shtick.
Sure.
Like Rob Van Dam?
Yeah.
No, his is just, roll joints and get high. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do with all that money?
Use it to roll joints.
I mean, there you go.
So up next we have Johnny Elite's Open Challenger, and who was it but none other than God's favorite champion, Miro.
Miro.
I
got plans for Miro.
You have plans for Miro?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it here shortly.
Is he part of the Heels on Top promotion?
No, I don't think so.
I think he's part of the Pretty Good Wrestling.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty good.
We'll get there. Carry on.
So he shows up against Johnny Nitro. And it's awesome. It's so great to have him back. I love Miro so much.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to say I liked his promo right before he came out. How he's talking about, I've been the Redeemer he's talking to God, he's God's favorite champion, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And he's just like, but basically he was just like, I'm going to do me and I'm just going to fuck up the roster.
I love it.
Yeah,
how it should be.
Love it. Big bruiser like that. Yeah, that's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
Love it. It's good stuff.
So up next, I will skip all the Jericho Appreciation Society
stuff.
Whoa.
Wait. Why are you skipping Jericho?
Because it was cool that Eddie Kingston came out and, blood and guts match and all that stuff. But
are you bored with Jericho?
Yes.
Are you sad about Chris Jericho? Where he's at
no,
right now?
Not sad. Bored.
Okay.
You can't say it yet. Maybe next week. We'll see.
Okay.
Not yet, though.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just hanging out here.
I'm not so much bored with Jericho as I am bored with the company he keeps.
Yeah. Except for Daniel Garcia, who I fucking love.
And also Kingston coming out, and then their little plan didn't go quite as fluid as they wanted, because he was like, Regal, tell him, and Regal was like, blood and guts. Yeah. And I was just like, what? Wait, oh, blood and guts.
Yeah. Like, this whole thing isn't really landing well. Like, the whole Jericho Appreciation Society. On paper, it should work because it's hilarious, and I was on board with it at first.
There will be a time when something of this catches on.
Yes.
Jericho, obviously, as we all know, Jericho is the best at adapting and evolving.
Yes. So, I agree. Something will catch, but it hasn't yet.
I agree with that as well. Yeah.
Agreed.
Michael, that's why you don't get to say it yet.
Acknowledge. Oh, I got that somewhere.
I mean, that's fine. You can believe that, but I just want to let you know that your argument essentially boiled down to, if you throw enough shit at the wall, something will eventually stick.
I mean,
that was your argument.
That's a fair assessment.
And I'm going to leave it alone at that.
I can't argue with your phrasing of our argument. So, up next, 10-man tag match. It's whatever. Whole bunch of stuff happened. Athena Palmer's interview. What do you guys think of her character? And I'm fully on board. I fucking loved Ember Moon, and I am on board with Athena fucking Hobo, whatever her name is. Athena Palmer.
I think it's just Athena, right?
Athena Palmer.
Yeah.
It's Athena Palmer, but
I'm not. I didn't really care for her in NXT.
The goddess.
I
I've always liked her.
She doesn't really do anything for me.
No, yeah. I've always been a fan. Ember Moon, Athena, whatever. But I
think the finisher is cool, but that's it.
Yeah.
I do think that. Do I think she's the one that takes the title off of Jade? No.
Nope.
No. Right. But I do think it'll be a good little feud for a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm pretty pro Athena. Like, I'm glad that she's, working, and getting a little bit more freedom to do what she wants to do. So I think that's good. I'm interested to see what they do with her. That'd be pretty interesting. But I agree. I don't think she's the one that takes the title off of Jade at all.
Nope.
Feed her to Jade.
No!
I mean, yeah. Give Jade. She'll be a credible opponent and a good win if Jade. Well, not if, when Jade beats her, then yeah, I'm okay with that.
No, why feed her Athena when you could just feed her the bunny? The bunny's sitting right there. Like, just feed her the bunny.
Actually feed her the bunny.
Actually feed her the bunny.
I mean, in old days wrestling, you never fed the new people that just showed up to the champion. You know what I mean? It was, let's have some squash matches. Let's slow build here, but. In today's world, man, news press shows up, stick them right in the title picture, buzzsaw it off. If they don't win, back to mid card, hanging out. Unless they win, then take off. But yeah,
these kids and their computers making everything so fast.
But I liked the way they did old wrestling, where they would.
Me too.
Watch. I like that stuff.
Speaking of old
Preach
wrestling,
to the choir here, man.
Speaking of old wrestling, I really want to get to that. So, Daniel Garcia versus Jon Moxley, awesome match. Daniel Garcia is cool. I love Jon Moxley. Dirty, I know you're not a fan. Rampage is where I decided that I might be done with AEW for a while because they had all this awesome stuff. It was sitting right there. You know, you got Tanahashi coming. You have CM Punk as your fucking world champion. You have, you know, the Blackpool Combat Club. You have all kinds of fucking things that are awesome. You have MJF cutting like an awesome promo. And then by 3 days later, CM Punk, title vacated, needs surgery. Bryan Danielson out because of injury. MJF taken off of the roster because of Warner Brothers, blah, blah, blah. The Jericho Appreciation Society completely bombing. And I was like, and I get it, like, the 2 injuries are not wrestling's fault. Like, it's not AEW's fault.
Sure.
But I was so psyched to have CM Punk, not only as the representation of Glue Factory Wrestling, but as AEW's like head, like top guy. I was so pumped for it. And then like when that got taken away, I was just like, well, fuck. Now I don't care.
I agree. I was pretty blown by that. I just also from what I've seen, like going around the dirt sheets, is it the injury from that crowd dive?
One off the entrance?
Yeah, from Dynamite.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't.
I saw that whenever he hurt his foot or whatever it was, but I was like, surely it had to be from the match. But the people were saying it was probably from whenever he dove into the crowd on Dynamite.
Yeah, I didn't hear exactly, when it was or might have been. But, yeah, that sucks, man. He didn't even have a title defense yet. We were barely even getting started, like barely.
Like,
what I mean?
We finally get him.
Yeah, it's fine after It's like after 8 years.
Yeah, and now
finally have CM Punk.
Granted,
back, the top.
Like AJ said, nobody can predict an injury. Like
sure.
But it sucks. It really does suck. I'm sure it sucks for him, CM Punk, more than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens in wrestling, but
But the good news is that he can take time off at this company and heal up and get fixed up, and he still has a good 3-4 years left in him.
Yeah. So here's where I'll go ahead.
I was gonna say that they're gonna do the interim champion thing, and then he can come back and have a program with when he gets healed up. So that to me is like at least a lot better for him. And he gave a heartfelt goodbye for a little bit. There's so much to learn from just watching CM.
I did see where he offered to vacate, and Tony Khan said no.
That's correct. Yeah.
See, here's what's going to really bother me is when he comes back, he'll turn heel and lose whoever is the interim champion. Miro. And I don't want that. I want a face fucking CM Punk champion and it's like now that's been taken away. So I'm like just fuck.
I want it to be Miro. I think he'd be awesome right now. Coming back, fresh, hot. You know what I mean? I think it'd be fun. I think he could do some funny stuff with it and be serious with it at the same time. Like, I want to see him hold up the title to God. Like, that's really what I just want to see. Like, look what I won for you. Like, hold it up like,
the Redeemer.
The Redeemer.
He talked about fixing his neck, too. He's like, I no longer have any weakness.
He's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I could see Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would be a good one, too.
Sure. All right. Sounds bad.
So the rest of the show, I honestly stopped. So, I mean, I know what happened. I read the recaps. And
I know what happened. I don't have any other notes for the rest of it either.
That was the main story. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and there's a battle royale to determine who will face Jon Moxley. Who did we know prior to this that Jon Moxley was the number one contender?
That really threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, but CM Punk's first title defense is in New Japan, and what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I think they're playing it safe, so they can put the title back on John if they need to,
exactly, or
create somebody new.
It's just a match, right, to see who's going to face Jon Moxley so he can win.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
become the first 2-time AEW champion.
I think they should put it on Tanahashi. I think that'd be fun. Put it in New Japan for a while.
Swerve the shit out of everybody.
I know, right?
I like a good swerve.
Me
do too.
Unless it's fucking Finn Balor and Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley turning on goddamn Ed.
All right, so Michael, let's go back, man. Give us the WWE rankings and the AEW rankings here.
Oh yeah, those things.
The undead rankings.
So, this is going to be the most unsurprising round of undead rankings I've done so far.
Joey Bag of rankings.
Completely predictable. The first one, you have NXT, the Creed brothers. It's obvious it's the Creed brothers. WWE, it's Bianca Belair, another champion, because she just conquered 2 people at Hell in a Cell and got shot up. AEW, it was CM Punk,
right?
But now he's a champ. It's going to be CM Punk for a while because he's a champion that can't be beat until he comes back. So his win percentage ratio is going to be pretty damn high,
right?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes got real close because I was like, I want to be biased here because Cody Rhodes wrestled with a massive pec injury.
Sure,
that was pretty awesome.
Right,
that's hardcore. That's metal.
I can't give bias points though because it kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Not bias. Bonus.
I mean, I could come up with a bonus chart.
Extra credit.
Yes, extra credit
for grit.
The extra grits.
Yeah, for extra grit.
The extra grits bonus credit.
What you got? Anything for Impact there too? While you're there, before Primo gets to that.
I got Josh Alexander still holding strong. It's the most expected round we've done so far. They're all champions and they're all at the top of the game, which is what you expect to happen in your wrestling program. So
what about? I guess Sami Callihan hasn't had a match yet, so
no, not yet.
Because I know he hasn't lost anything.
There you go. But he hasn't had a match yet.
Cool beans.
Yeah, nothing too exciting this week. Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Let's roll on, Primo, to Impact and NWA, sir.
Let's get to some Impact Wrestling. So, Shark Boy is backstage with Eddie Edwards, and he's talking to Eddie Edwards, ends up getting his on Eddie's bad side. But then TNA original Cowboy Chris Harris from America's Most Wanted, with him, Chris Harris and James Storm, pops up out of nowhere and challenges Eddie Edwards to a match. Jack Evans has been added to the Ultimate X match at Slammiversary, which also includes the other people I talked about last week. 2 tag teams of the Pretty Good Wrestling Federation, or the PGWF. The Good Brothers and Briscoes have continued to build on their feud even more as they have a war of words and then end up brawling. I like this. I like that. This is what us here at the PGWF are all about. So they're representing. And then finally, Impact news. Next week, it will be Frankie Kazarian and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
And Scott D'Amore told him to find someone that has believed in the company since day one. I don't know who it's going to be.
Fallen Angel.
Oh, you think?
That's my guess. Chris Daniels.
Oh,
that makes sense. Right?
I like that. I mean, him and Cass.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good one. I like that.
That's just who popped up to me, Ralph.
Yeah. And anyway, so they need to find somebody who's believed in the company since day one so they can face Honor No More. That is Impact, basically. They are still gearing up and building up and making the card for Slammiversary.
Right, yep. Sammy's still killing Moose.
Yes.
He is. And,
correct. Anytime you see Moose, you know you're going to see Sammy.
Yep. The only other note other than Briscoes and Good Brothers, like you said, that I love that feud. I could see Mia Yim kind of being a little bit of a big deal here in the women's division. Seems like they're putting a little bit of stock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
The only thing I have for Impact is I never noticed this until this week. Do you ever realize how little sense Shark Boy doing this makes? Like, little sense this makes because a shark's fin is on its back, not on its forehead. So,
Chill, yeah.
Yeah.
Should be up there.
Yeah, like right back here.
At least back there.
That's too much.
I never noticed it until this week. I was like, wait a minute.
He's dad bod Shark Boy now.
Wait a minute.
Shark man.
Yep.
He's become a shark man. Gone through shark puberty.
Yeah. So NWA Power. We had the NWA Television Champion Tyrus. He cuts a promo and hypes up his Slam Challenge for this week. Then we had Nick Aldis defeating the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. Obviously, in preparation, he's supposed to challenge Matt Cardona at Always Ready. But anyhow, in that post-match interview, Nick Aldis, National Treasurer, that is, Mr. Mickey James, cut a promo. Oh, my bad.
Did you say Mickey James?
I sure did.
Oh, you said it. Thank you.
He cuts a promo on Matt Cardona ahead of the Always Ready event coming up this Saturday. KC Rocks came up short in the Tyrus Slam Challenge. Mims saved him from a beatdown, and I don't know if you guys listened to me last week and the week prior. You know, Scion's been having this issue with Austin Idol. Supposedly, Austin Idol's like his Faja, but or something like that. But anyway, Scion turned heel and attacked Mims and joined Idolmania Sports Management.
Nice.
So he aligned himself with Austin Idol and Tyrus. And then finally, Kylan King and Missa Kate defeated NWA Women's World Champion Camille and Kenzie Page this weekend at Always Ready. Kylan King will challenge Camille for that Women's Championship. Nice. By the way, fun little tidbit there. Kylan King and Camille both trained by the Dudleys at their school.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Very cool. All right. Well, AJ had to step away, so we'll come back to the Kurt Angle Trophy results. So that's going to do it for the recap for the week. If you guys are ready, man, let's move on to the dropkick discussion so we can talk about Tully Blanchard versus Magnum TA.
Yeah.
You gonna make me wait?
Yeah, because AJ's not here.
Hey guys, this is Mr. Havens, the Argyle assassin himself, giving them all the shivers.
This is the one and only Mike Hartenbauer.
This is Face Jesus Billy Starks.
This is referee Dan Perch.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw. You can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
You guys are listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
You're listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
Come celebrate pro wrestling right here on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With Primo, DB, and AJ.
And you're listening to DB, Primo, AJ here on the Sit Down Marks podcast, the best podcast for professional wrestling.
All right, here we go. It's time for a little dropkick discussion of the week. We got Tully Blanchard versus Magnum TA from Starrcade 85, the famous I Quit match. We watched this thing. Now it's time to review it, and then we're going to Smelly Mark rate it. Let me say first, I think I mentioned this last week. This was the first time that I went to I was 10 years old, went to a closed circuit television, which basically is a movie theater. To watch this Starrcade 85. It was called The Gathering. The main event was Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. It was held in two different locations, Greensboro and Atlanta. They had cards for both. This actual match we're watching tonight was held in Greensboro. The actual main event was held in Atlanta. But I remember being all jacked up to go to this show, man, and 2 or 3 matches in, I was out of sleep. Little
baby
right,
dirty bird.
Right. And then I woke up, probably after a couple matches, and I remember seeing this match live and then the main event. But yeah, it was a pretty long match, but to kind of set it up, or a pretty long card, to kind of set it up though, this was for the United States title that Tully Blanchard had. and he also was with his valet Baby Doll at the time.
Baby Doll.
This was your classic heel versus face, hardcore heel versus very baby face. Magnum, who was basically as over as much as anyone in this era, he was the pretty boy. He was
Really?
groomed to be the next, he was going to be the champion. And this was, just a storyline, a step in the ladder on the way to get there. Now, I also remember as a kid being real, when you're a kid, you love all the baby faces, right? So I also remember, because me and my dad used to watch this occasionally together. And just because just a timestamp in both of our memories, I remember it always being worried that Magnum was going to get hurt or he was going to have to say I quit. And my dad, who was pulling for all the heels, was going to rag me for the rest of my life about Tully Blanchard beating Magnum TA, right? So, so we used to always kind of laugh about that. But a very classic matchup. This was the first ever I Quit match in NWA history, maybe even wrestling history. Who knows? But there would be some later on. But just to kind of put everything into perspective, the very next year after this match is when Magnum TA would have his wreck in Charlotte, and so it would derail his career. So this ended up being, if not his biggest match, if in his career, it is definitely one of the top couple. So let's get to the match. You guys got anything up until? They didn't really show you a whole lot up until the entrances. We get kind of a rock star entrance with Smoke from Tully and Baby Doll, who comes to the ring last, as the champion did back in the day. And Magnum's already in the ring waiting on him. And he was announced as the vastly popular Magnum TA. So I guess he didn't really have a nickname too much back then. But
vastly popular.
Vastly popular. No time limit. This match was in a cage. Somebody must say I quit on a mic, which, we'll talk about later. But nobody ever said I quit. But Bob Caudle and a very young Tony Schiavone on the call here, which was always
with a great
cool.
mustache, by the way.
Yeah, great mustache. Any quick notes from you guys here before I talk about the match?
Yeah, I have a bunch of the entrance notes, actually. So, number one, what's funny, obviously, where they say history repeats itself. So, like, Magnum TA's look is, like, coming back again. Watch baseball. You'll see Magnum TA's look.
Yes.
And I said, okay, so they said, so this is my own thoughts, but okay, so it's an I Quit match with no time limit inside of a cage. They talked about how Magnum TA was from Virginia Beach. I said, I went to Virginia Beach last year on my birthday. This year, I'll probably go to Ocean City or Outer Banks, one of the two.
Thank you.
Tully was repping Texas. Hell yeah. And I laughed.
Yeah, West Texas State quarterback.
They have to reach over and grab the microphone to say I quit, and this was at a time before wireless microphones.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, dang, I didn't realize they didn't trim the top of the chain link on the cage. Now it looks like a prison I Quit match. And then I put at the last thing I said was on the entrance was Tully is wearing black and Magnum's wearing red. Take notes, Valentine and Piper.
Yes. Good point. Good point. Michael, AJ, you got anything?
What I have is this is in fact the first ever I Quit match. I looked it up, did some research. I also wrote down how he said the extraordinarily popular Magnum TA. I was like, a good nickname, I guess. Tony Schiavone's mustache. I noticed that. Mm-hmm. And so I also, whenever there's an I Quit match and one of the wrestlers has to take a mic and stuff it in the face of the other wrestler, all you hear is like wheezing and grunting. So I'm like, How much of that are we in for right now? To where like the mic's gonna be in the face and they're gonna be like,
I have a lot of notes on this.
They're all blown up and fucking. It's amazing. So those are my notes for pre-match.
I just had that. I love the look of Cyclone Fence for cage matches.
Yeah.
I much preferred over like the blue cage that WWE uses now, or like they did use when they started doing it. But yeah, like Cyclone cage like that, I love the look of that because it looks gritty. It looks like something that you would put dogs in to keep them contained. I love that look of it. I wish they did it more.
Awesome. All right, let's get to this match in here. So Tully takes the early advantage, but it's Magnum who actually uses the cage to his advantage first. So he's kind of doing the small little heel tactic. But, Tully obviously will jump back on him and kind of take the early advantage. And Magnum is already bleeding basically just minutes into this thing. He's got a small little trickle coming down his head, which back then, they went, I'm going to talk about this in a second, but, they went everything the hard way just about with razor blades. So this was interesting. So a lot of hate between these two. So a lot of heel tactics was going to be used. Like I remember in this match, like, you wouldn't normally see Magnum TA kind of do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Kind of like use the cage. He was always a run by the rules kind of guy. His finisher was a belly to belly suplex. You know what I'm saying?
Belly to belly suplex?
No, belly to belly. But
just checking.
The same way. Just with Magnum doing it. Yeah. So it wasn't like he had like this devastating finisher, you know what I'm saying? So that was always, so this was interesting to see him kind of use these tactics. So now we look and Tully is bleeding pretty good. The camera actually catches him giving the razor blade back to Baby Doll through the cage. I don't know if you guys seen that. He kind of like laid it on the mat close to the cage, and then she reached in there and grabbed it and put it in her purse. Mm-hmm. So the waterworks come on. This is where we first see Tully ask Magnum to say I quit in the microphone, but he says no. They both go back to using each other's heads on the cage and brawling. Yes, a lot of breathing in the mic. Tully grabs the mic again, and then they both are kind of like going back and forth at this time, asking each other to say I quit. But then Tully starts using the mic as a weapon. He basically just starts beating the shit out of Magnum on the top of his head with it. Mm-hmm. Magnum is laid out. Then Baby Doll throws a wooden chair in the ring, and Tully breaks it into a couple pieces. Now, Tully kicks the referee out and grabs a part of the chair and uses it as a spike as he's trying to stab Magnum in the face with it. So basically he's pushing down the spike and Magnum's like holding his hand up, trying to hold it. So a lot of that going on. And then we get to the finish. So Magnum gets loose after this, this stab attempt is going on. Magnum gets loose, grabs his own piece of the wooden chair, and is basically stabbing it into Tully's head, kind of like what Tully was just trying to do it to him. The referee is asking if he quits. The microphone is there. He doesn't say I quit, but Tully is saying yes, 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 which he says quite a good bit while blood is pouring down his face. The match is over. Magnum TA is the new champion of the United States of America. Sounds
the World United States champion?
Yeah, the World United States champion. Tully's still selling the injury, like post, he's still yelling, rolling around, obviously, blood, going everywhere. But as Magnum is being announced as the champ. Classic match. I remember these guys, being or I remember being happy that Magnum won. And I remember I was going to say too, like I watched this match, I feel like probably like 6 months ago. And I feel like every time I watch it, it loses a little bit of steam for me. Like I find something else that, maybe doesn't make it as much of a classic as I thought it was. I think it's more of a legendary match versus like a classic, you know what I mean? So yeah, but, and I can't help but always think what could have been had Magnum had not, been in the wreck that derailed his career, because he would definitely been the champion. I think he would have been right up there with like a Sting as far as babyface and being over. But that's all I got, guys. Before we smelly market, man, tell me what you guys thought about it, AJ.
So I was not disappointed by the wheezing that was into the mic. Do you quit? No. Like, it was great. It was brutal. I saw the handoff of the blade, although I don't even think they needed a blade because, again, they were stabbing each other.
Right.
I did like when Tully was using the microphone. It kept going. Like every time he hit him with it. I thought that was fun. And I also liked the spot where Tully was on top with the broken chair, like kind of like it reminded me, like, for some sick reason, of that scene in Saving Private Ryan, where they're like the like German guys like trying to like get the knife down. And,
yeah.
So that's like it was a brawl. Like, it was gross. It was boring at times, but they both sold it really, really well. Like, they were both selling that they were completely gassed by 5 minutes into it, just because they were selling the brutality of it. And it added to the story of the match, which was also very, very cool. So
it was a blow-off match too of a big feud. So,
and I love
a little dirty.
And I love Baby Doll, just because her name was Baby Doll. And when they announced her, they were like, Baby Doll, and then that made me think of Baby Clothes. And then I started laughing. So yeah, that's what I had for it.
Baby Clothes, baby.
Michael, go ahead, man.
Just a great match. Not only do you have like the classic like heel face roles represented, you have a huge build up to it. It's a blood feud. They just start pummeling the shit out of each other. They start using the chain link fence as like a weapon. They start using the microphone. They're just battering each other. Like, there's not really a lot of holds and throws in this match because it's a blood feud, right? So like they're just blows and there's great back and forth. Magnum takes over, then Tully takes back over again, then Magnum goes again. It's so good, and then their selling of everything going on is perfect. It's like just two guys who are very, very good at this, who get professional wrestling. And like you said, the wheezing is still fun to listen to.
Sure. Right.
Always fun to listen to. But yeah, like you're talking like top athletes here. Like they're not that wheeze, but they're selling for it. This is great. My favorite part of this match is after Magnum wins. This is the end of a blood feud, the blow-off match, as you said. As he's getting out of the ring and like Tully's still selling the spike in the face, Magnum just gives him this look of disgust and just walks off.
Yeah.
It is so goddamn good. And this is why I miss old school professional wrestling.
Yep. Good stuff. Primo, what'd you think, man?
I have quite a few notes, actually. So, to me, actually, Baby Doll was kind of annoying at the beginning. I don't want to hear her screaming when I'm watching these two sweaty men rub on each other. I want to watch the two sweaty men rub on each other without any kind of female screaming there.
No woman screaming.
That's right.
There's no room for women when there's one man coming harder on another man than he's ever
That's
seen.
right. That's right. I was always so you could tell there were boring parts of this when I insert my own thoughts. So I went back to the chain link not being trimmed on the top, and I said, growing up, I was always the really short kid that would hop the fence, and the chain link would snag my shorts. And then I came back to the match. I said, Magnum TA is strong as hell. There was a point there where he had carried Tully over his head. And I said, okay, I like how Magnum was digging into that gash on Tully's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I literally laughed out loud right here in this computer chair when the first time Magnum went to ask Tully if he quit, but he's holding the microphone right there at his crotch.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The old dick phone.
Yes. So
tell my dick if you quit or not.
Exactly. Like, this, not only is it degrading that you quit, but it's degrading you're talking to his dick.
Yeah, just right in his dick. Tell my dick you quit.
And then
He
Tully
told me he's going to come harder.
In return, Tully he put the microphone right inside of Magnum's mouth. And then Magnum with the crotch microphone once again. And then I was laughing so much at this point because every time they grab the microphone, they're just like breathing and wheezing and like a whole lot of that going on.
Yep.
The atomic drop off of the top rope or the middle rope really connected.
Right in them old giblets.
Yeah, it did. And then Tully was beating on him and he wanted to say I quit, but I said he can't say I quit if he's knocked out, Tully. Sheesh.
You gotta keep him alive.
And then when Baby Doll threw that wooden chair in there, I said Tully couldn't figure out what he wanted to do with that chair at the beginning. And then at the end for the finish, the old chair backfired once Magnum got a hold of it. Tully quits and new United States champion, Magnum TA.
All right, boys, let's smelly mark it, man. What are you guys thinking here? I'm going to go first this week. I'm going to say, like I said, I feel like each time I watch this takes just a little bit back, but, childhood, the blow off, the legendary status of this match, I'm going 7.5. Primo.
I was actually originally I gave it a much lower score. But after thinking on it, I will give it 6 smelly marks out of 10.
Okay.
So, had it gone another 5 minutes, it would have dropped considerably for me. Because it would have been another 5 minutes of That being said, it was great fun. It was a little boring in parts, but it was a lot of fun, and it was the first one ever. So I'm going to give it a 7 Smilly Mirks.
Smilly Mirks.
Smilly Mirks.
Michael!
Great match. Old school wrestling. 2 great performers. First of a kind match. I'm going to say this one is an 8 out of 10 for me.
You generous fucker.
Yeah.
I mean, Tully Blanchard is one of the best in-ring workers of all time.
Yeah.
He is.
My third favorite wrestler ever.
And this is the what's missing from modern wrestling to me is just this straight presentation of a fight that these two put on. So it's a great match. I recommend everybody go check it out. Whoever picked reviewing this match for today, my bandana off to you because what a pick. Yeah, what a pick.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, so next week we are reviewing Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express from Starrcade 86, the famous scaffold match. We get to watch Jim Cornette fall off the scaffold, so that's going to be fun. So that's going to do it for this week's Dropkick discussion. Let's now AJ is back. Before we move on to the MMA picks, let's find out, AJ, who won the Kurt Angle Trophy. First of all, let me say that if this is your first time listening, the Kurt Angle Trophy is our pod heavyweight title, if you will. We take turns picking cards against each other. I had won this trophy back in WrestleMania. Yeah. WrestleMania. Yep. And so I put the number 1 contendership up a couple weeks ago. Primo won that. So me and Primo picked against each other this week for Hell in a Cell. We ended up with 7 Hell in a Cell matches to choose from. Okay. Now, the only stipulation I put on it was Primo had to beat me outright. He couldn't tie me. So in champion and challenger fashion, AJ, out of 7 matches, how many did Primo get right?
Well, Primo impressively picked 6 matches correct. He was 6-1, which means Dirty would have to be perfect to keep the belt.
No problem.
And I'm not really, A well-picked card. Did he get 7 out of 7? You are goddamn right. He did fucking not. He picked an abysmal 2 out of 7.
Dirty.
Man, I way overthought this. All right, look now. I got Theory right, and I got Judgment Day right.
Judgment Day. You got Theory and Judgment Day.
And then I thought I was sitting golden with my Seth pick, which was wrong when I seen, because I thought the same thing Michael thought too. Here's your storyline right here. Cody can lose and come back later, yada yada. I pooped the bed on this one. I totally overthought it, but whatever. Primo's the new 3-time champion, brother. So he is going back home to Virginia with you, sir. Congratulations.
I would also just like to say that I also would have been 6-1 in this.
Yes, me and AJ had the same picks.
We had the same picks.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that I lost.
You're a robot again.
You're a robot.
You're a match-picking robot again.
At least you're a 3-time champion robot.
A 3-time robot.
All right, so let's move on here to our MMA picks.
No.
You're back?
We are not moving on.
No. Well, you were giving me the move on hand motion.
No.
So.
I was saying you keep talking while I fix my robot
Okay.
voice.
I want to know
Right.
which one did you pick incorrectly, Primo and AJ?
Ezekiel versus KO. I picked Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Every other one I picked correctly.
Yeah.
I will say this. You had me sweating a little bit. I was like, damn, did he actually beat me? Because I was like, I got every single. I was watching the pay-per-view, and I was just like, fuck, I'm doing so good. He had to have a perfect run or tie me, because that was one of the stipulations. And I gotta say this, hats off to you. If we talk about the lineage of the Kurt Angle Championship now,
sure.
I'm now your 3-time champion, but I held it once, AJ, then I held it again, then I passed it off to yourself, Dirty Bird, and you made this awesome number 1 contendership matchup.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I enjoyed that. So
that was
your 3-time champ.
It worked out in your favor.
Your 3-time champ. We'll have to continue that tradition.
Sounds good. You're going to hold it until SummerSlam, and you'll put it up against us.
I mean, no worries there, but
Right. Here we go.
So that's why you held off on mailing me that key chain.
Yeah.
Sure. Kayfabe all the way.
Package, yeah.
Kayfabe all the way. Yep.
No. Obviously, hats off to you, DB. Thanks for keeping her warm for me.
You're welcome, man. I told AJ, I said, I knew you'd won because how bad I did. I looked at the card and I go, I know exactly who Primo's going to pick, every one of them. So I was like, I'm going to go the other way on a couple of them. Most of it, well, there's a few of them I wasn't sure, but most of them I decided to go the other way. And I thought, well, I'll either lose badly or I'll win big. One of the two. So,
the only one
I lost badly.
There were 2 that I was questionable on, and that was the triple threat for the women's championship. And I decided to go ahead with Bianca. I felt that was the safest choice.
Yeah.
And then
Bianca.
At the last second, I originally picked Seth over Cody.
Mm.
And then I was like,
I
still would have won.
Right. Won. Yeah.
But,
when you only pick 2 right, it's not
right.
a very good chance.
But the point is, like, I changed my answer at the last second before I set my pick in.
Yep. All right. Congratulations, brother. Let's move on to these MMA picks. AJ, you were 47-43 going into last week, man. You picked Alexander Volkov to get the W. Let's see if you got back on track.
Yeah.
Hey! 48
43.
43, dude.
5 games above 500.
Doing pretty good there. All right, let's jump over to Primo now. But he's been helping the gamblers out at 11-10. You picked Evoluev. Anyway, he was on the co-main event.
Maspar Evliov.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see if Primo got back on the winning ways. Yes, he did.
A bunch of them.
Yes, he did. A couple of them. So Primo is now 12-10.
Sorry, I'm excited because I was on a losing streak there.
Yeah, you were in a bit of a streak.
Yep, doing good here. So AJ, let's flip script to this Saturday. You're picking the UFC light heavyweight title. The champion Glover Teixeira is 33-7 from Brazil. He's 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Is putting the title up against number 2 ranked Jiri Prochka, who is 28-3-1. He is from Czechia. 6'3", and he has an 80-inch reach. Who you thinking here, the champ or the challenger?
I am going to stick with the champ.
Glover
Teixeira.
Teixeira. Sounds good. I think it's like one of those Singapore cards that's going to be on like the middle of the day on Saturday. Primo, man, check out that card, man. Who you want to help out the gamblers with this week?
So I'm actually going to go with the co-main women's flyweight division matchup between Valentina Shevchenko versus Talia Santos. And I'm going to go against Valentina Shevchenko and pick Talia Santos. So Santos has a height advantage and a reach advantage. So, and you know that there's the 6-year age difference where she's the minor on that. So I just think that Santos, she only has one loss on her professional record. I don't see this as being the second loss. She will give it to Shevchenko.
All right, there you go. There you heard it. Good job, boys, getting back in the dubs this week. Let's see if we can carry it on to next week. All right, Primo, hit that game show music, brother. It's time to play Last Man Standing. All right, boys, it's time for that brand new game called Last Man Standing. It's the game where the last man standing will win the match. I give you a category. You guys will call out as much as you know until you don't know any more about the certain category. And once you don't know, well, you're out. So that's the way it works. So
I'm not gonna lie, this might be my favorite game.
I love it.
I think you guys are probably gonna love it even more after today. So before we get started here, I want to ask that both of you guys step away from your computers. Cross your arms, please. No Googling before I give you your category for today. Michael, y'all ready there as well?
Do I get to play?
Yeah, you get to play, of course.
You said both of you guys. I was like, oh.
No, I'm sorry. All of you guys, everybody. Yeah, you're on the show.
If I can raise my shoulder up, hang on a second. There we go.
All right, there you go.
Check.
All right, so I have, I drew names before the show. Today's order is going to be Primo, AJ, and Michael. So Primo first, AJ second, and Michael. Okay, your category today is WrestleMania cities. Cities that WrestleMania has been held.
Okay.
All right, last man standing. Here we go. Primo, start us off.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas was WrestleMania 32 and more. So Dallas is off the board. Next up, AJ.
Just to be a snob, we're going to go in order. Madison Square Garden, New York.
There we go. WrestleMania 1. Michael.
New Orleans.
This is true. The old, what's the big, the Silverdome, brother. There we go. New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, back to you, Primo.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know it's not. Yep, that was WrestleMania 2. Very, very good. AJ.
And 21, I think.
And 21. Yep, you're right.
Chicago,
of course.
Shish kebab.
WrestleMania.
Chicago.
Old, we'll call that.
I'm so glad you got that reference.
Mm-hmm.
Michael.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yep, that was one of the earlier ones too there. Next up,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa. Yes. I'm not finding these as quick as I thought I would here.
It was like 37 and 36 back to back.
Yep. All right. Next up, AJ.
Michael said Las Vegas, which is where forward. So we're going to go with Orlando.
Orlando, yep. WrestleMania 24, I'm sorry. Michael.
St. Louis.
Ooh, St. Louis. Don't see that one on the listing where St. Louis has hosted a Royal Rumble that we went to, but I don't see it on the list here anywhere. So Michael is eliminated.
Wow.
Wah, wah, wah. So it's between Primo and AJ. Primo, back to you.
Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada?
It's not a city.
I don't fucking know. I'm not Canadian.
That's a province.
That is.
AJ is correct.
It's a province.
That's like saying Illinois.
I don't. There was one in Canada. I just can't remember what the city was.
That's like me saying United States.
All right, that is incorrect. AJ, if you can name one more, you'll be the winner today.
One more. Let's make sure I get a for sure one. No. Boston?
Boston is correct. 1998 WrestleMania. AJ is the winner today of Last Man Standing. Some ones you guys didn't mention: Pontiac, Michigan, Atlantic City, Toronto. Primo.
That's the one I was thinking of. Sorry, I'm not fucking Canadian.
Indianapolis, Hartford, Connecticut, Anaheim, Philly, Houston.
Yeah, my alternate was Philly for that answer.
Yep. Phoenix.
I was going to go Philly. Too.
Miami, East Rutherford, New Jersey, San Francisco, Santa Clara, same thing. And I believe that's it. So, AJ, you win today's Last Man Standing. Good job, sir.
Thank you. That's like my third Last Man Standing win in a row, or second?
Well, you won music class. You beat me in music class.
I did.
Week, so.
You're second last man. You're the last man standing.
Yeah. I'm on a mid-card streak right now. Can't get to the big boy. Just call me Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, boys. So that was a fun one, man. We'll bring that back again here in just a couple weeks. But next, let's move on, man, because me and Primo had the chance to talk to General Manager Ethan Edwards of Odyssey Pro Wrestling over in Morecambe in the UK. They have a huge card coming up June the 18th. Our guy Ryan Paul Davies, RPD, is wrestling Andre Decker. And then also another former guest on the show, the Cumbrian Outlaw Rick Marcus, is wrestling Ryan Hunter there for the Odyssey Pro Championship. Primo, they're excited, man. This is a very big card. It's about to go down over there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, 100%. They talked, Ethan Edwards talked about how, the promotion came about and the inception,
Yes.
I think he said it was 4 or 5 hours from where he actually lives. So, pretty cool dedication there. And also how he likes storytelling. So that was cool to hear. And, I thought he was really genuine and he had a great insight on Odyssey Pro, as a whole.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. We were excited to talk to him and just glad we was able to talk to him and be able to promote this show. So here's the general manager of Odyssey Pro Wrestling, Ethan Edwards. All right. Well, that was a real fun interview. It was early in the morning for us, and it was in the afternoon for him. So, we had some, a grandfather clock going off and all kind of stuff. But Ethan was cool enough to to take time out to talk to us and really push this card. And good luck to them, man. And you can't wait to see how that one all shakes out on that card on June the 18th. All right, AJ, if you're ready, man, it's time to close the show.
Well,
hi, it's the Cumbrian Outlaw, Rick Marcus, and I'm here on the Sit Down Marks podcast with Primo, DB, and AJ.
We're closing the show. You can, of course, find us every Wednesday right here on YouTube. We generally start around 7 o'clock, depending on when I can get my happy ass home from work. We're also available on all major podcast outlets, including Google and Spotify and Apple, so on and so forth. Go check us out there. Give us a 5-star review or a 4-star review. Never a 3-star review.
Never.
Also, we have merch. Go to tpublic.com/stores/sit-down-marks and buy all your t-shirts, sweatshirts, baby clothes, and other various goods with our faces and logos on them. All that money goes right back into the pod so we can continue to review shows and bring you cool interviews, so on and so forth. It all goes right back to you. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Yeah, it's been a while since I came up with some new designs. So if anybody out there in Sit Down Markland wants to send us some design ideas, we're all ears. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
All right, Primo, give us that preview of next week's pod, man. It's a big one.
Well, come on in close, Marks. It's your 3-time Sit Down Marks champion.
You fuck.
No, but for real. Let's get to the preview next week. The summer is heating up, and so is Impact Wrestling. Next week, I'll bring you the card announced so far and break it all down for Slammiversary. That is the 20th anniversary of Slammiversary. Our Dropkick discussion will take us to Starrcade 86. That's 1 year removed from this week's, where we will review the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express, baby. Promo School will return next week. And lastly, we've been telling you that Christian Rose interview was coming, and next week we'll finally drop it, baby. Can't wait for all you guys to hear this one. It was a good one. Thank you all for downloading and subscribing. I must go.
Read it.
I must go and leave you all now, for I have shit my pants.
No, you weren't supposed to stop even before you read it. You're supposed to just keep going.
Like I said, I don't read these.
Right. All right, so last couple notes here, man. We signed a deal back with Zawa Live Wrestling. We're going to be back there July 9th for a show in Sterling, so make sure you guys come check us out there. CCW will be on June 25th. This is the next show we'll be at. Michael, thanks for coming back, brother. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. Thanks for being on the pod.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me back. It's always good talking to you fine folks about the fine event of professional wrestling.
Yeah, you didn't disagree as much today.
We didn't. We got along a little bit.
He's
today,
in pain.
So.
He's in pain. And hobble.
He's got back and shoulder injuries.
Everything hurts so much.
He's on painkillers.
He's empathizing with Cody Rhodes.
I must leave you all now, for I have shit my
I was hoping I could get him if he didn't forward read just a little bit. I can get his stand. All right, boys, that was fun, man. Thank y'all. That was a good pod, man. Thanks everybody for downloading and subscribing. The Christian Rose interview is next week, man. It's going to be awesome. We got a lot of other interviews lined up for you coming up here. It's going to be a fun summer here, man. If you guys are ready, man, AJ, take us home, dude.
Yeah.
You sound like Stu Hart.
Gravity cake. Yeah.
Bang, bang!
Oh, grab them cakes. Oh, that's all you do. Grab them cakes.
Fresh off the presses. Grab your Thump underwear. 2 for 1. We got to get that in the pod.
We do.